Welcome, dear students. Our current session focuses on the future possibilities of the growth of a language. I hope and expect by the end of this session, you would be able to understand what can be the future lines of the development of a language and what are the factors that influence the future of a language. We would also talk about, is it possible to determine or to predict what would be the possibilities of future developments in a language? Well, my dear students, through the process of divergent development that leads towards the creation of new languages or the formation of new dialects, through the times, if we look at all that, it has happened so many times in human history that through the repetitive process, a number of languages have emerged. If we look at today's world, over 6,000 different languages are used in today's world. This leads towards certain questions in terms of growth and development of human language and in terms of future possibilities of human language and the varieties in human language. There are certain questions that we need to think about. And in fact, when I talk of the nature of this session, actually this poses a lot of questions and probably I would not be in a position to give answers to all the questions. So the first question is, what has been the line of development for a particular language through the history, and what has been the line of development of a particular family of languages, through the times? The next question that we need to consider is, what will be the future line of development? So, what I'm talking about is, while looking at the future possibilities, we need to consider the past. What was the process in the past? What kind of changes took place in the past? Probably would provide us some kind of guideline to understand what would be the future direction, where would it lead towards in future. What will be the number of languages in the world in future is another question for us to consider. As I've already said, according to some estimates, there are 6,900 plus languages in the world. Some other estimates say 6,800 languages, but overall somewhere 6,000 plus languages are spoken in today's world. The question is, would the number of languages increase in the coming days or would it decrease? And unfortunately, probably it is not possible for us at this time point to determine the answer. What can be the factors? This is the next question that we need to think about. What can be the factors that would help us try to determine, the number? Does the past precedence mean a constant increase in number? Because if you look back at the history, over the times, through the times, there has been a constant increase. The graph has been going up. However, now the question is, would it keep on going up? Or, there would be a decline, or it would become static. Again, it is not very much possible for us to give definitive answers. And especially, when I talk with reference to English language and its emergence as a lingua franca, there are, certain theories that say that probably the number would decrease. Why it would come down? Because one or two lingua franca would take the place of a lot of languages, and because they would be out of use, they would die. However, we do not have any definitive answers for most of these questions. These are just points to be pondered over and to be taken into consideration while studying the history of human language and also while studying the history of a particular language, such as we do for instance, for the history of English language. I think probably past is not going to be it is not going to set a precedence for future. Why it is not going to set precedence and how, it is going to be different probably in future is quite questionable. But, the nature of the world, its, emergence as a global village where there is a lot of connectivity, where people need to connect. And for that connectivity, they need a common language. This divergence and the processes of divergence would comparatively slow down probably through the times. When we talk of the future of English, we again, in terms of future possibilities, we need to think about what is predicted about the status of English in future. And whatsoever would be the future of English as a lingua franca, and also, its use as first language, second language, and, as a foreign language across the globe, how does it relate to the future of other languages and to the future of other dialects? And, finally, the question, what are the future implications of the status of English? Is the status of English in future related to other domains of life as well? Is it going to have some political, social, and cultural impact, or vice versa? So, there are a lot of questions with reference to the future possibilities of growth of languages, but we do not have definitive answers for that.